7 dark psychology tricks that always work. Psychology facts, modern Stoic. Dark psychology often carries a reputation for being a complicated and shadowy area of knowledge, yet its true nature can be just as intricate when applied. While many view learning these manipulative techniques as a way to influence others, it's just as vital to understand them so you can recognize when they are being used on you. Awareness is key to protecting yourself from manipulation. People often wield these psychological tools to control or deceive others, and in many instances, these strategies can cross ethical boundaries. Therefore, it's critical to approach the study of dark psychology with a sense of responsibility and integrity. As the philosopher Socrates once said, "To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom." It's through self-awareness that we can guard against manipulation and use psychological understanding for our benefit in an ethical and empowering way. The reality is, just because a psychological trick works doesn't mean it should be employed without reflection. Recognize that awareness itself is a powerful tool. In this world, knowing how to protect your mind and emotional well-being is as crucial as knowing how to connect with others effectively. So, always use what you learn to empower yourself and others, never to exploit or control. 1. Anchoring, the power of first impressions. Anchoring is one of the most potent psychological tools used to shape your decisions, often without you even realizing it. The concept is simple but powerful. It occurs when an initial piece of information, known as the anchor, influences your perception of subsequent information. This trick exploits the brain's tendency to rely heavily on the first bit of data it receives when making judgments, even when that data may be irrelevant or misleading. For instance, think about the last time you went to buy a car. If a salesperson first shows you a luxury vehicle priced at $50,000, your mind naturally registers that number as a reference point. When they then show you a second car priced at $30,000, you might immediately feel that it's a much better deal, even though $30,000 is still a hefty price tag for a car. This is the essence of anchoring. The high price you saw first skews your judgment, making the second price seem more reasonable, even though it's still expensive. This psychological principle is not just for car sales. It happens in nearly every aspect of life. Whether it's a home purchase, negotiations, or even interpersonal relationships, the initial number, opinion, or offer you hear can act as a powerful anchor that influences how you perceive everything that comes after. It's a subtle yet effective manipulation tactic, often employed by marketers, salespeople, and even friends or family to steer you toward decisions that benefit them. In fact, research has shown that people can be deeply affected by anchoring in ways that seem illogical or irrational. Consider this. When making decisions, we often don't take the time to critically evaluate every piece of information. Instead, we unconsciously judge based on what's presented to us first. This could be an advertisement, an offer, or even a well-meaning friend giving their opinion. While it may seem like a harmless way to make sense of the world, this reliance on anchors can lead us to make choices that we later regret. In relationships, anchoring can also play a crucial role. Let's say someone makes a first impression based on superficial qualities or a single interaction. If that first impression is powerful enough, it can anchor how you perceive that person for a long time. You might dismiss all future behaviors or conversations that contradict that initial impression because it feels too difficult to break free from the anchor that was set. But here's the catch. Once you become aware of the anchoring effect, you can break free from its grip. The next time you're faced with an important decision, whether it's buying something big or assessing a relationship, take a step back. Challenge yourself to question whether your initial perception is truly the best reference point, or if it's simply an anchor designed to pull you in a particular direction. As Albert Einstein famously said, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change." In the same way, the ability to recognize and resist anchoring gives you the power to make better, more informed decisions. Always trust your own judgment, and don't let the first piece of information you receive be the only thing that defines your choices. 2. The Scarcity Principle. The scarcity principle is one of the most potent psychological manipulation techniques in existence, and understanding its power is key to mastering both personal interactions and broader decision-making. At its core, it exploits our primal fear of missing out, compelling us to act swiftly when we perceive something as scarce or exclusive. This is an instinctive reaction, one that's deeply rooted in human psychology. The mere suggestion that an opportunity is fleeting often overrides our logical thinking, pushing us toward impulsive decisions we might later regret. Consider this. A salesperson with a sharp glint in their eye says, "This is the last item left in stock," even though it's likely not true. That single statement creates a pressure, almost a primal fear that forces you to act quickly, to secure something before it's gone. In our modern world, this principle extends beyond shopping malls and retail experiences into the digital age, where online retailers use phrases like limited time offer or only 5 left in stock to trigger a sense of urgency. You can see it in countless advertisements, and its effectiveness cannot be overstated. It's not just about a product or service, though. The scarcity principle can be applied to ideas, people, and opportunities. When something feels limited, whether it's time, attention, or influence, we are inclined to place more value on it. This fear of losing out fuels our decisions, and it's a tool that manipulators are well aware of. They know that the more exclusive something seems, the more we will covet it, and the more we are likely to act without fully considering the consequences. You've probably felt it yourself. When a person you admire suddenly acts distant or less available, it can create an overwhelming desire to win their approval or attention, even if it's not truly in your best interest. The same applies to investments and business opportunities. The more exclusive the opportunity seems, the more desperate we can become to claim it, often without evaluating its true value or potential risks. And so, the manipulation becomes more than just a sales tactic. It taps into our very human nature. It manipulates our fear, our desire for significance, and our instinct to seize what might slip away. In fact, one of the most effective ways to protect yourself from being manipulated by the scarcity principle is to cultivate awareness and emotional discipline. Before you make a rushed decision, ask yourself, am I truly making this choice out of genuine need, or is it because I've been emotionally pressured into it? Remember, the value of something is not determined by its availability, but by its true worth, something manipulators hope you'll overlook in the heat of the moment. In a world where the scarcity principle is leveraged at every corner, whether you're navigating your personal relationships, your finances, or your professional life, it's essential to develop a mindset that transcends this psychological trickery. The next time you feel the pressure of urgency pushing you to make a quick decision, take a step back and breathe. Reflect. Is the opportunity truly as scarce as it seems, or is it simply a tactic to make you act before your rational mind can catch up? In that moment of clarity, you'll hold the power to deflect manipulation and make choices rooted in wisdom, not fear. So, what are you going to do when the pressure is on? Are you going to fall for the manipulation, or will you rise above and act with intention? It's time to take control of your decisions and never let fear dictate your actions again. You are the one who decides your path, not the scarcity tactics designed to control you. Don't be tricked by false urgency. Master the art of knowing what truly matters, and let that guide your choices. If you agree that your decisions should be guided by wisdom, not urgency, drop a comment below with, "I am in control of my choices," to affirm your commitment to rejecting manipulative tactics. Share this message with others who need to hear it. Let's rise above the fear and start making empowered, thoughtful decisions today. 3. Social proof. Let's find out with a real-life example from 2016 that perfectly illustrates the power of social proof. I went into a store with my mind set on buying a specific smartphone that I had already researched and decided on. However, when I got there, the phone I wanted was unavailable. The salesman, sensing my hesitation, showed me another phone and confidently told me, "This is the best phone available at the time. It's a bit outdated, but if you add a little more money, you can get this one instead." He even pulled the same phone out of his pocket, saying he used it himself. Without realizing it, I was suddenly convinced this was the phone for me. The mere act of him using it made the product feel more valuable, and I ended up buying it, even though it wasn't the best option available. This is the essence of social proof, and it's a trick often used in both everyday life and marketing. We're more likely to like something when we see others, especially experts or influential people, endorsing it. It works like magic when people we respect are using or recommending a product or idea. A popular example is when a celebrity promotes a brand of jeans and suddenly everyone wants to wear them. Not because they are inherently better, but because the celebrity's endorsement creates a sense of value and desirability. Marketing agencies take this even further by creating a fake social proof bubble. Ever watched glowing movie reviews and then felt compelled to see a film only to find out it wasn't as great as it was made out to be? That's social proof at play. The same trick works with social media, where we observe what our friends, influencers, or celebrities are doing and feel a need to follow suit to fit in or gain approval. In Robert Cialdini's influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, he highlights how we often look to others for guidance when we feel uncertain, especially in ambiguous situations. For instance, before meeting someone new, we might already have an image in our minds of what they'll be like based on what we've heard from friends or seen on social media. It's a mental shortcut we all take. Even simple actions, like praising ourselves in front of friends to impress someone we like, are an example of using social proof to create a favourable impression. So, what does this mean for you? Understanding social proof gives you the power to influence situations and decisions around you, while also making you more aware of when it's being used to influence you, whether you're trying to impress a potential partner or make a business decision. Knowing how social proof works can help you navigate relationships and purchases with more insight and control. Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself swayed by something just because others were using or praising it? Maybe you've fallen for it in a marketing campaign or social setting. How can you use this knowledge to your advantage or protect yourself from being manipulated in the future? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your experiences. 4. Love bombing. The fourth dark psychology trick that you absolutely need to understand is love bombing. It's one of the most commonly used tactics in relationships, and unfortunately, it's also one of the most effective. Love bombing is a psychological manipulation trick where an individual showers the target with excessive compliments, surprises, affection, and attention in an attempt to control the target's emotions, thoughts, and behaviours. While it's most commonly associated with romantic relationships, this tactic can be used in various settings: friendships, family relationships, school, work, and even on social media. The manipulator uses this tactic to create an emotional bond that feels intense and real, leading the target to believe that they've found something truly special. Imagine for a moment that you're in a new relationship or friendship, and everything feels perfect. The other person constantly praises you, listens intently to everything you say, and showers you with thoughtful gestures and attention. You might even feel as though you've found someone who truly understands you, someone who makes you feel special in ways you've never felt before. This feels wonderful, doesn't it? The compliments, the constant messages, the surprise gifts, it all seems like real love, right? But here's the trap. The manipulator is intentionally giving you exactly what you crave in order to gain control. They know that everyone wants validation, affection, and attention, and they use that desire to bind you emotionally. This initial phase of excessive love and affection is designed to make you feel emotionally reliant on them, creating an intense bond that makes you believe they are the one person who truly sees you for who you are. Now, what happens once they've got you hooked? Once they've made you believe that you're the most important person in their world? They begin to pull back. Slowly but surely, the affection and attention that were once abundant start to fade. The texts become less frequent. The compliments turn into vague statements, and the kindness becomes more transactional. But here's the real kicker. The emotional bond that's been established, makes you crave that attention, crave that affection, and suddenly you find yourself chasing after them, trying to get back to the place where they made you feel special. You're emotionally dependent on their approval, and that's exactly what the manipulator wants. They now have control. The power of love bombing lies in its ability to manipulate your emotions, forcing you into a cycle of emotional highs and lows. The sudden withdrawal of affection creates insecurity, and you'll do whatever it takes to regain that emotional security. In many cases, the manipulator knows that if they make you feel loved and needed, you'll start doing things to keep the relationship going, things that you might not have agreed to or even considered before. This is when love bombing turns into emotional manipulation. You start to sacrifice your own needs, desires, and even boundaries just to maintain the connection. They push your limits, and you allow it because you fear losing the bond you thought was real. But there's something you need to understand. Real love does not operate like this. Genuine love is not about overwhelming someone with affection and then pulling it away to create dependency. True love is built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. It isn't about emotional games, it's about steady, reliable care and emotional support. The manipulation that love bombing introduces into the relationship is toxic because it creates a false sense of intimacy and emotional security. Instead of building the relationship on mutual respect, it is built on control and insecurity. You might find yourself wondering, why would someone use love bombing on me? How do I know if I'm being manipulated? The truth is, the manipulator often does this because they are seeking control. They might do it out of a desire for power, or perhaps they don't even fully understand the impact they're having on you. They might believe that their version of love is the best, and they think it's acceptable to use manipulation to achieve the closeness they desire. But here's the thing. You don't have to let anyone control your emotions. You don't have to accept love that comes with strings attached. You deserve authentic connections where both parties are emotionally healthy, where trust is built over time, and where you are not playing emotional games to earn affection. You should be aware of the signs of love bombing so that you can protect yourself from becoming a victim. Recognizing the manipulation before it's too late is crucial. If someone is overwhelming you with affection only to pull it away when they feel you're hooked, that's a clear sign that you need to take a step back and reevaluate the relationship. But how do you protect yourself from love bombing? First, learn to recognize it. Trust your instincts. If something feels off or too good to be true, it probably is. If someone is rushing things, showering you with affection too quickly, or making promises that seem unrealistic, take a moment to pause. Real love takes time to develop. It's not about immediate intensity. It's about gradual, consistent care and connection. It's also essential to establish boundaries and make sure they're respected. Healthy relationships involve mutual respect, where both parties are equally invested in building something meaningful. Take a step back from the whirlwind, evaluate the relationship for what it truly is, and ask yourself if you feel in control of your emotions, or if you're constantly chasing someone else's approval. If you're constantly trying to gain someone's affection and struggling to keep up with their emotional shifts, it's a clear sign that the dynamic may not be healthy. Be courageous enough to set boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. You are worth more than someone's manipulation. True love doesn't manipulate. It supports, nurtures, and grows with you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever experienced someone pulling back after a period of intense affection, leaving you feeling insecure and unsure of where you stand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to learn more about how to recognize and protect yourself from dark psychological tactics like love bombing. Together, we can build stronger, healthier connections and take control of our emotional lives. 5. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a manipulative psychological tactic that can slowly erode an individual's mental health and perception of reality. It is a subtle, yet highly destructive form of manipulation where the manipulator systematically causes the victim to question their own memories, perceptions, and sanity. The ultimate goal of gaslighting is to destabilize the target's sense of reality, often leaving them feeling confused, anxious, and insecure. Picture a situation where someone denies ever saying something you clearly heard them say. Over time, these repeated contradictions make you start to doubt your memory and your ability to trust your own experiences. The constant denial and distortion of facts wear down your confidence and self-esteem, causing you to question whether what you remember really happened or if it's just in your head. This is the very essence of gaslighting, manipulating someone to the point where they lose touch with their own version of the truth. In many cases, gaslighting is so insidious that it can go unnoticed for a long time. It often occurs in abusive relationships, both personal and professional, where one person wants to maintain control over another. The manipulator may use various tactics, such as denying events, distorting reality, or presenting a false version of the truth, all designed to make the victim feel as though they're losing their grip on reality. You might find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do or doubting the authenticity of your own emotions, simply because someone else is twisting the truth. One of the most insidious aspects of gaslighting is that it's often so subtle that it becomes difficult to recognize. The manipulator doesn't have to openly lie. Instead, they sow seeds of doubt in your mind, making small but significant alterations to your perception of reality. The effects are gradual, but over time, you may find yourself feeling disoriented, anxious, and unsure of yourself. This slow, deliberate process can cause a person to lose their confidence, making them more reliant on the manipulator and easier to control. Recognizing gaslighting in your life is essential to protecting your mental and emotional well-being. The sooner you can spot the signs, the better equipped you'll be to preserve your sense of self and prevent further manipulation. It's crucial to trust your instincts and not allow others to distort your reality. Remember, if someone consistently makes you doubt your own truth, that's a red flag. As the famous philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote reminds us that while we cannot control others' actions, we do have control over how we respond, and recognizing gaslighting allows us to take back control over our own lives. 6. Go slightly wrong. Dark psychology is a powerful tool, and the sixth trick you need to master is the subtle art of going slightly wrong. This psychological manipulation strategy is one that top manipulators have perfected because it flies under the radar, going unnoticed, but always yielding results. The trick is simple, yet incredibly effective. By intentionally providing a bit of incorrect information with full confidence, you spark the target's need to correct you. In turn, they reveal more than you intended to know. This tactic is brilliantly simple. Take the example of a neighbor's aunt who, out of curiosity, uses this technique to extract information about her neighbor's child's exam results. She casually asks about the child's performance, perhaps mentioning, "I heard David topped the class," which, in reality, may not be true. But the neighbor, eager to correct this misinformation, might reveal more than just the truth, like details about David's performance compared to last time. This seemingly innocent inquiry leads to a deeper dive, and the aunt gathers not only the correct answer, but also additional insights that weren't meant to be shared. The beauty of this strategy lies in its subtlety. It's about creating a safe space for the target to engage, correcting you without realizing the exchange is one-sided. When done properly, this manipulation trick feels natural and easy, giving you the information you seek without confrontation. But there's a catch. You must be cautious. This technique only works if the other party doesn't recognize it as a manipulation tactic. If they've seen this video, your plan might backfire. So, how do you execute this successfully? Start the conversation by asking innocent, seemingly harmless questions that don't raise suspicion. A slight misstep in your information prompts them to correct you, leading them to provide you with more valuable details. Manipulation, when applied with finesse, can unlock hidden truths, but it's essential to approach it with awareness and confidence. the more naturally you incorporate these psychological tricks into your interactions, the more power you'll hold over the conversation. And remember, confidence is key. Manipulators use these tactics because they know people are driven to correct information that doesn't sit right with them. As you master this trick, keep in mind that it is not just about extracting information, it's about controlling the flow of conversation and steering it in your favor. This isn't just some mind game. It's a skill set that, when applied ethically, can be used for both personal and professional gain. In fact, a famous quote by Sun Tzu comes to mind: "All warfare is based on deception." In your case, you're not waging war, but you're navigating the battlefield of social interactions with the precision of a strategist. Use this power wisely. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used a form of psychological manipulation in your daily life, even unintentionally? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And if you found this strategy intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more insights into dark psychology and its practical applications in your life. This technique isn't just a psychological hack, it's a step towards mastering human behavior. Whether you're negotiating, socializing, or simply navigating the complexities of daily interactions, understanding how to manipulate the flow of conversation can give you a significant edge. So the next time you're in a discussion, remember, going slightly wrong could just be the key to unlocking the deeper layers of truth. 7. The foot in the door technique. The foot in the door technique is a powerful psychological strategy that many are unaware of, yet it affects us more than we realize. At its core, this technique is about starting small, often with a seemingly innocent or trivial request, and then gradually building up to larger requests. It's like testing the waters before diving in. When someone agrees to the initial small request, they are unconsciously setting themselves up for a much bigger one. The principle that drives this technique is commitment and consistency. Our minds are wired to honor the commitments we make, no matter how minor they seem. This urge for consistency is so strong that we often feel compelled to follow through, even when the later requests are far larger or more intrusive than the initial one. Think of a salesperson who, after getting you to look at a product, asks you to buy it. It might seem harmless at first to just take a look, but once you've shown interest, you are more likely to purchase. This small action, just looking, sets in motion a chain of decisions that leads to bigger commitments. But this tactic isn't limited to sales. It is used in countless situations, from marketing campaigns to personal relationships, and even in workplace negotiations. This principle doesn't only apply to sales, it's part of our everyday lives. You've experienced it, whether you know it or not. Maybe someone asked for your help on a small task, and before long, they were asking for more. The foot in the door technique takes advantage of our desire to appear consistent in our actions. Once we commit to something, we feel the need to follow through, which makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. This is a reminder to stay vigilant. It's not just about refusing a request, it's about understanding the psychological tactics that can be used against us. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Knowing how and why we're influenced is the first step to truly taking control. The more we understand these psychological techniques, the more we can resist their pull. In modern life, we see this everywhere. It's not just the car salesman or telemarketers, it's in our relationships, at work, and even in social media. The way someone gets us to just try their product, their service, or even their philosophy. It starts small, and before you know it, you're completely invested. Take control of your decisions, recognize when the foot in the door is being used, and don't let it dictate your actions. Remember, being consistent doesn't mean you have to agree to everything. In fact, true consistency lies in aligning your actions with your deeper values, not in mindlessly complying with requests that don't serve you. What's one small decision you can make today to practice self-control and stay aligned with your values? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's discuss how we can all stay true to our purpose, despite the subtle psychological pressures around us. Like this video if you agree that your actions should always align with your values. Hey everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope the insights into these dark psychology tricks have given you a deeper understanding of the psychological maneuvers that can influence human behavior. It's easy to become a victim of manipulative tactics, but by recognizing them, you can protect yourself and stay one step ahead. Remember, the power of knowledge lies in how you apply it. By being aware of these subtle techniques, you're not just protecting yourself from manipulation, you're also gaining a unique perspective on human interactions. Whether it's gaslighting, emotional manipulation, or mind games, understanding these tactics allows you to navigate social dynamics with more clarity and confidence. Here's a piece of sincere advice. Always trust your instincts when something feels off. If you notice signs of manipulation, take a step back and reflect before reacting. It's important to understand that not everything people say or do has the best intentions behind it. The more you recognize these tricks, the stronger and more prepared you become to handle them. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you've experienced any of these tactics firsthand, or if you'd like me to dive deeper into a specific aspect of dark psychology. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more fascinating and educational content like this. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay wise, stay aware, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.